Hello, it is still, all the videos are going to open like this. It is still October 10th. My bestie friend, Linda, is sitting here on the couch off camera. We are having wonderful conversations and discussing things that would be great to share with all of y'all. And off camera, we were just talking about what other things would be great for y'all to hear. And Linda said she's got a question for me. And I don't know what it is. So this is very exciting for me anyhow. And we're going to listen to her question, Linda's question, and then I will blabber on. And hopefully you will benefit from it. It sounds so bad. Go, Linda. Take the floor.
Okay, so we were talking about personal sovereignty. This is what you were mentioning.
Personal sovereignty. It's a big deal right now.
And how you have to state what you want and what you don't want, right?
Yes.
So one thing that's been coming up for me lately, and it seems to be a recurring theme in my life, is that now that I'm in a space where I realize what you're talking about, that this is how we're all supposed to live, I've been doing this, but it seems like everything that I want, the universe is saying no, and it's blocking me.
I see.
So I don't understand why that's happening.
So you're saying that when you are feeling the energy of what you want and beaming that out, it does not manifest. Is that what you're saying?
So sometimes it does not manifest, sometimes it does, but even if I make it happen, it always gets cut off.
Make it happen.
Like when I had that job that I really liked, and then I was fired, 3 weeks later?
Right. Well, my favorite answer to getting fired from a job is that was not a good job for you. I mean, either that or literally you're just a big screw up, which Linda is not. So I know that I know you, and I know that's not why you got fired, but it could be a reason. I mean, if you come drunk to your job, expect to be fired, I mean, that's like asking to be fired. So I mean, of course you can bring that on yourself, but what Linda's asking is, so when you thought you wanted this thing, you had your reasons for wanting, let's just stick with the theme of the job. So you wanted a job, you got this job. Did you pick this job on purpose out of options, or did it just sort of emerge as the one that looked like a good fit at the moment? I mean, how much synchronicity was there with you taking this job? Because for me, that has a lot to do with what happens after, right? So what kind of energy were you going into this job with?
I think for me, I wanted to get into something new.
Okay.
Into a new area of work that I hadn't done before, and that was based on my current physical limitations.
Okay.
And I was excited about the prospect of gaining some new skills, but I was also a little bit nervous because it was not something that I had done before.
Right.
It's like I'm getting older now, and to have to learn new things at my age can be intimidating sometimes.
Okay, I have to laugh because
right?
Linda is a lot younger than me. She's an old soul, and we get along like a house on fire. But Linda's younger than me. Am I going to tell everyone on the internet my age? I don't think I want to do that right now, but let's just say I'm over 40. And Linda is not. Anyhow, you're cute, Linda. That's really sweet. So this is what I have to say about that. Didn't you also say that the place that you worked was haunted? Okay, she's laughing. So,
yeah. I was gonna.
I rest my case. I don't know what else to say. I mean, I will talk about this. But dude, she told me the place was haunted. Like, she thought it was haunted, and somebody said something about it being haunted, or there being some sort of thing, some sort of like story about that place. So, I mean, how can I not go with it was haunted and Linda needed not to be there? That's obvious. But let's pretend it wasn't haunted so that we can like go in a different direction with this conversation, because that's you. I mean, okay, back up. It was haunted. That's a great reason. Something oogie boogie that Linda's higher self knew she shouldn't be near that. But it could have been, I mean, it doesn't have to be a haunting. It could be some sort of chemical thing. Because Linda's very, very sensitive to environmental everything, this is one reason I love her so much, is because I am too. And we both have that. We have different things and some things in common with the environmental, like, chemicals and whatever. So it could have been that, and you didn't know it, and spirit or higher self is like, we got to get Linda out of here because we can smell that, whatever, nuclear waste. And so they get you out of there. So there's that. And here's the thing. You can't ever know.
But it seems like everything, Lucy. It's not just the job.
So,
it's the
okay.
choir class. It's everything.
The what class?
The choir class.
Oh, I know. But see, the choir. Okay, so that's another thing. That's another video. I was going to take the choir class too, because I recently posted on Facebook, it was probably a month ago now, about how singing is super amazing and everyone should be doing it. Even if you think you suck, even if you actually suck, you should still be singing. You've got to do it. It heals from the inside out. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, this will heal you. It like changes you. It repairs your DNA. That's another video. I will do that video. Need to do that. Is really important. But back to the class did not happen. I mean, for one, I think it's a miracle that that choir instructor at that community college pulled it off in the spring with everybody doing it by Zoom. I thought that was brilliant, and I got to see their concert with like a million little boxes. Well, not a million. It was like 50 people, 30. I don't know. It was a lot of little boxes of people singing. It was really cool. But that is a hard way to do a choir. And maybe they just said, screw it, like, we don't know. You got your refund. Oh, you do know? Oh, there's a backstory, people. Wait, so is the class actually happening? It is.
Except for everybody but me.
That's really, well, were you like the straw that broke the camel's back? Were there too many people? Was it a cutoff?
I don't know. The people at the college said they tried to contact her several times to get back to me, but she never did. But they said the class was still going, so I don't know.
I'm gonna guess that you were too many.
Okay.
And she just might be stressed out, the person who ran the choir.
Yeah.
So, in my last video, I said, if things go wrong with people, you just gotta be like, I have compassion for me and compassion for them. I'm laughing because I just said this like 5 minutes ago in another video. So you don't know, but maybe there is a reason. So like, you're wearing your mask today because you are feeling vulnerable to airborne whatever.
Yeah.
I never wear the mask because it gives me an anxiety attack and I can't do that. Plus I'm in my house, but free will. Linda's rocking her mask today. Looks really comfortable. So maybe that was a good thing for you. Now, nobody wants to hear that. I don't want to hear it. Linda didn't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it either. If I give you the reason, we want this reason, and the reason is we can't know what the reason is. Yeah, Linda's going like this. Boo. But what else do you want? Okay, I'm gonna give an example from my own life. If you've watched other videos of mine, or you know me personally, you might know that I have some pretty active spirit guides, and at different points in my life, there've been different groups and whatnot, and let's just say there's been a lot of communication between me and etheric beings. I have had those etheric beings tell me, do not do that thing that you want to do. And what did stubborn Lizzie do? She went and did the thing. And my guides were like, oh. I mean, you can just feel it. You can feel it. They don't make that noise, but you can feel it. And I learned some really tough things. And part of the reason why I went ahead and did the thing that I was interested in doing, but that they warned me against, was because it was going to take me on a detour off of my path. And later, this exact situation that I'm talking about came before my guide started showing me literal timeline maps. Like, they looked just like a map, like a paper map, like you'd have in the car. I mean, everybody uses Google Earth and whatnot, MapQuest now. But remember the paper maps, and you had to like look at where the line went and how to get detour around that place. So that's what they looked like, and they had times and dates and some like actual things. It was done just like a paper map, so there was actual writing that I could see on it. I learned a lot. I learned things in a way that I could have learned those things faster had I not taken that route. But I did what I did, and that's okay. I forgive myself. I have compassion for myself. I give myself grace. Knowing that, and knowing that other people maybe don't have spirit guides who are telling them yes or no or don't do that, and don't see a literal visual map in, clairvoyantly in their mind. The only thing I can say is, if you're not going to work drunk and you're not signing up for a choir drunk, you know what I mean? You're not doing something that's obviously canceling you out of that equation. You have to look at it like it was not meant to be for whatever reason. And maybe, Linda, you are going to create a choir group of your own. Maybe not. I'm just saying, like, there are other ways. What was your goal? Your goal wasn't to get credit through this community college. It wasn't about that. It was about you wanted to sing with people. Right. There are lots of ways to do that. I mean, Corona times, maybe less, but there are still ways. So maybe that was not the way that was going to bring you the most joy and the most satisfaction. And that's what I felt, and that's why I was on the fence, and I beat myself up about not signing up for the class, because I said I was going to do it, and I wanted to sing with other people. But I am, dare I say, a little older and a little wiser now, and I know to heed the messages that I get, the energetic messages that I get, and it just felt like kind of like uncomfortable. It didn't feel comfortable.
I think I felt the same way, but I tried to force it.
And I almost did.
Yeah. But
I had an out loud talk with myself, which is basically what I'm doing now. No, because Linda's here. I had an out loud talk to myself, and I said, why would you not listen to this? Like, there are people on the planet who think they don't have spirit guides and don't know who their higher self, or they don't know these things. And here you've got this asset, and you're gonna do like you did that time and take the hard way. Why? So that's all I can say, is that corny saying is, when one door shuts, another one opens. Although we don't always see that door opening, and we don't always know where to look for that door. Yeah. So I don't have an answer for you.
That was my answer, but it just, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah.
For what my path is right now.
I guess the only way to bring satisfaction with that situation is, and I've been there. It's like, but I wanted to like be in action, right? Mm-hmm. The hermit who is an overachiever. It's interesting. I'm going to go back to a video that I did years ago when my Nana told me that sometimes what you are supposed to be doing is marching in place. Go back and watch this video. Um, it's probably called Marching in Place. And she told me this when I was in high school, and she said, okay, so in marching band, which I was not in, I was in orchestra, but she said in marching band, sometimes you, in the pattern of the whatever you're doing for the marching, there are people who have to march in place. They don't get to go anywhere. They have to march in place, and people go around them. They might go around two different directions. They might swirl, but you have to hold that spot. You have to anchor that spot. And that's a very important job, because without you being in that spot, the people around you cannot navigate. And she told me this because as a teenager, I was already an overachiever. I wanted to do all the things all at once and, everything. So that was wisdom right there. And we should all remember that when we feel like we're not being allowed to move in a direction that we feel like we want to be moving in, it could be because we are needed right here, right now, in this spot. And that is our highest purpose and our highest calling. And in that moment, please remember that it's very important. You feel like you missed something, you feel like you're not doing something, you've got to move out of that energy and claim the energy of this nothingness that looks like is happening in my life is extremely important and sacred. Yeah, use that word sacred, man. Pump yourself up, because we're so busy tearing ourselves down and judging and coming up with excuses of why this didn't happen. And they're not true. They're all lies. Look, if you can't know the reason why you didn't get the job or didn't get the class or didn't get the boyfriend or didn't make the cut with your children's book that you sent out for 3 years, that's my story. You just got to look at it like that's interesting and it engages you, but it's not supposed to be your focus, because somebody or something somewhere needs you more. Being what you feel is idle, like you're idling, like you're not producing or delivering or any of that. So I've been speaking for like 4 videos about compassion and grace and forgiveness. So let's all forgive ourselves for judging ourselves when something doesn't happen that we wanted to happen or we thought we wanted to happen. I mean, there's a million stories out there about the people who missed the flight and the plane like crashed, or they couldn't get their car started and get to that interview and they found out the building was on fire. I mean, I'm just making this stuff up, but you know what I'm talking about. We've all heard those stories. Everybody's heard stories like that. This is a little bit different, but it's the same topic. It's the same energy. Be grateful. Be grateful. Even if you don't understand the mechanics of what's going on. I love you all, whether you believe it or not. Forgive yourself. Goodbye.